Hey everybody, welcome to the Street Parking Coaches Roundtable. It's been, I don't know how long. We've all been in like a very, just like a time warp for the last little bit, but this is episode number 24, and we are here to talk about the new street parking logging platform. I call it the logging platform, but it's really so much more than that. It's like a content delivery system and workout delivery system, plus a place that you can log your workouts, that we just released yesterday. And people are pretty pumped about it. We're pretty pumped about it. We're pretty proud of it. And there have been honestly not as many questions as I would have assumed there would be, but we're going to go through today and talk a little bit about why we designed what we designed, why we put it together the way that we did, why we chose to change certain things after 5 years, and people have been used to some stuff being a little bit different. What programs are on there, how to use those programs, and just, generally talking about what's going on with this whole new platform. So super excited about it. What has been your favorite moment so far in the past? It's been like 36 hours, not even. With the members now experiencing the platform, like what reactions have you guys liked the most before we get into all of it?
I feel like this is going to be most of ours. I don't know. But I have seen quite a few people who I think for the most part have been pretty disengaged for an extended period of time with the community or maybe even with doing workouts, who are saying that they are now re-encouraged. They've logged their first workout in months, all because the platform is so beautiful and easy to use.
Yeah, I've seen people who have never been loggers. Maybe they tried and it was cumbersome for them, or that it just wasn't something that they were excited about, who are now logging. My dad logged his very first street parking workout. So he's been doing the workouts with my mom, and she's always been a logger because she likes earning the free gear, which, Mom, I'll send it to you anyway, but okay. But he was never really a logger, and he was super pumped about it. So he logged his first workout and he figured it out very easily. And my mom did too, without any help from me. So seeing how easy it is for people to navigate and seeing people that haven't been normally loggers getting in there and doing it, that's been really cool.
Yeah, you just noticed how much like text and size, the size of things make a huge difference, because the difference was, and you could just see it, right, with our personal apps with companies that spend lots of money, and how their apps, how easy it is for them to use. The letters are in bold, the colors are bright. It's really easy to navigate through. Where the platform before, it was just kind of a little bit darker. Maybe it hadn't been updated as frequently as possible. So for a lot of the older generation, something like that, especially eyesight does play a big role into that. So something like this, where you can just plug in, it's like right in your face. It's bright. It's got a personality to itself, which is the personality of SP. It just incentivizes individuals to just kind of use it, and then they see the trophy case, which pumps people up, because who doesn't like to see where their progress is, going on a day-to-day basis? That's really cool to see that. So it's been cool.
Another fun thing that's happened is Caitlin, who is in charge of our apparel, she's been super excited because she thought that this was the one time that this wasn't going to impact her, because usually when we do something big, it always involves some sort of apparel drop, or if it's a meetup, it's like ordering apparel and making these swag bags for everyone. She was like, finally, something that's not going to bog me down. Well, a bunch of people logged in yesterday and hadn't looked at their count on Wodify for a very long time and realized that they had reached 75 or reached 365. And so she had like over 100 people email in yesterday to get some of their swag that they hadn't yet realized that they earned. And now it's so easy to see it. That was pretty funny.
Just a second, what Julian was saying, these old eyes, man, it's just this new layout is so much more easy on them. But I think really generally just going on Facebook right after we launched and just seeing the excitement of everybody, all the different reasons why they were excited, was just so cool. Because like Miranda said, I mean, we were in a hole. I was in a hole for months. Like, I didn't know what day it was. Like the weeks were just cranking by, it was really, so to have all of that pay off just by seeing, being able to hand it over and see the enjoyment. Particularly for me, I thought this was cool, and I can't really take credit because this really goes to the dev team, was seeing there's several members that actually work in software development and them, kind of getting their thumbs up on it and them kind of sharing like, oh, I've been struggling with developing or putting out an app for way less people. And I can only imagine what everybody had to go through to put this out. And so seeing the approval of the whole community and specifically people in that field that understand kind of what it all takes was super cool.
Yeah, so let's dive into it and show. We're going to give a general overview of just kind of what's on there. And Julian has his phone hooked up to the screen here. Part of our mission statement here at Street Parking is to give people the tools that they need to take control of their fitness. And we've been doing that, but it's been cumbersome. It's been in too many different places. And if the tools aren't handy, if you don't know where they are, or if they're not simple enough to use, the tools are not going to help anyone do anything. So our goal, it took us 2 years to make this thing, has been to take the tools that we were providing and make them easier to use, more simple, easier to navigate, so that people could actually use all of the stuff that we have had. And then, of course, we added some new stuff in there as well. So the new platform has basically the daily workouts. It has extra programs. It has some of the maintenance library is on there, and we'll continue to move some more of it over. You can scroll back up, click on one of the daily workouts. So before, if you were looking at Wattify, scroll down a little bit, you would have to click on program A to see program A. And then if you wanted to see what program B was, you had to click out of program A to see program. Okay. Okay. In the old system, like I was saying, you had to click on program A to see program A, click out of it. Click into program B to see program B, click out of it. So, I mean, just simple things of like, hey, they're all right here, kind of swipe through them and you can see all the different versions and choose what you're going to do from there. And then in the old system, you had to go out of that page and go to log results and find that same workout again. We have the logging just right there on the page for you guys. If you scroll down to the bottom of the version of the workout that you did.
That was a good note too. That.
Yep, shift is on there too. If you scroll down, you'll be able to find the warm-ups that are on there. The mama modifications are on there for our pregnant and postpartum people. And then all the customizations are on there. Maintenance suggestions are on there. And then you can log your workout straight from there. Do you want to pretend like you're logging a workout right now?
I actually didn't log yesterday's. So
will you tap on customizations too, just so they can see kind of like?
Yes, let me go, since I do have to log those.
If you guys are just listening to this later, like if you're doing the podcast version of this, you don't want to open your phone and follow along. So on the customizations, if you click on one of those, there'll be a video that shows what it is. So you can be like, oh, I can't run today. What are my options? Click on customizations and it's going to show you all the other options. Or I don't have that piece of equipment or I need to change something. You can click on it and it'll show some different options for you. We've always provided that in the demo videos. But now you can go right to the one thing that you need to change as opposed to having to watch a longer demo video. The demo videos are on there. Our internet here is really bad, by the way. You don't need to play it. Just, yeah. Oh, okay. And then.
Hey, who's that girl?
She looks really excited.
Also, this is the internet. We have really bad Wi-Fi right now in the office. It's not the app.
Yeah, so if you go, and then at the top of that page too, the actual demo video for the workout is on there, and the movement library videos that show the movements with breaking down how to do them. I wouldn't try to play those from our internet if I were you. But yeah, you can log straight from the page, enter your score in there. This is his real score from today's workout that he did last night. Got the little emoji thing in there. You can enter what weight that you used. That was just an option. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's being very
right? And then
Very
I felt,
precise.
I wouldn't say I loved it. Smiled through it.
You smiled because you beat Kaylee.
I did.
Barely.
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 Complete.
Okay, and then from here, oh look, they added your thing that you wanted just today.
It was there last night. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And then you can go to your trophy case, or you can go check it out in your logbook, which we'll get into what the trophy case is all about in the logbook a little bit later. Go to the extra programs. So that's just the daily workout and how much more convenient that it is.
I was just gonna say, so many people were so excited about the Heathers like this.
Oh my gosh, the thumbs up. If you join street parking later, or if you just joined street parking, or if you're listening to this 6 months from now, or the extra programs. This is really hard for me to like run the show with all of you guys talking.
No, it's
over
more
there.
real.
Okay. The Heathers like this is when we had Wodify, there were 2 women named Heather, actually, not just one, but 2, who would go through and like people's performances. And I don't know how they did it, because I don't know how they got that thing to load and to be able to do as much of it as they did, but they've done it for years, and it always meant a lot to people. And so we lost that part of it, but we didn't want to lose the idea behind it, so we added that in. Okay, so if you click on extra programs, what you'll see now is all the different categories. So we've got strength, endurance, specialty, body weight, vault. That's the 2020 and 2021 vaults or workouts are in there. The new on-ramp program, which is for people who are maybe new to this type of training. And then tactical, which we've had on members only for a while, which is people training for the Army PT tests or the Marine Corps PT tests, stuff like that. You don't need to click into any of them right now, but there's multiple collections in each of those. And that's kind of where I wanted to go first in our discussion, because I would say this was one of the bigger changes for people. So before, we had 7 weekly accessory workouts. So on Sunday, we would post 7 workouts. There was endurance, power, Oli, suns out, guns out, butts and guts, gymnastics, and sandbag. And it didn't start out that way. I think it started out with just maybe power and Oli. Yeah. And then we did this fun summertime series for suns out, guns out that turned into a forever thing. And then we added the butts and guts. So we had been adding things, but it's been 7 for the last couple years, at least, I would say. And we've had other extra programs that have lived on members only that were not loggable, because there was no way for us to enter them into the system for people to just do them whenever they wanted. So things like Bro Sesh, some of the Oli Imams that came out this year, and a bunch of other programs actually that were workouts that we provided that people couldn't log. Now, in that extra program section, if you add up all the different extra programs, there's 40 extra programs. So we've still got the same 7 and several series of those. So there's like 2 butts and guts, 2 suns out, guns out, 3 sandbag. Plus we've added in the bro sessions. Plus we've added in the Oli Imams. We created an Oli linear program. So there's like all of these things that now we can give way more options than just the 7. And that's the question that we've been getting the most, though, is it's like, well, I'm just going to ask you guys the questions and I'll let you answer them. I wrote them down. How and where do I'm looking at 40 options of workouts that I can add in on top of the daily workouts that are already there. Every single day there's a new one. How do I even begin to decide which ones I should do, which workouts I should do, or which series I should do? How does one even like wrap their head around all the options? It's like the Cheesecake Factory menu.
Yeah, which can be very overwhelming. So it depends on what your goals are, right? All of the different programs, extra programs, are categorized. So if you want to work on your endurance, you go to endurance. If you want to work on strength, you go to strength. Specialty, kind of have some fun with things, you go to that. So you think about what your goals are, and then how much you want to commit to that. So let's say, for example, that you want to get a little extra strength training each week. Then you go into the strength program, look at the different programs, see what's what. And what's really cool is that now you can look at those programs and it will tell you how you can add it in with the daily workouts. We feel that the daily workouts are really your foundation. And before, I'm sure we'll get more into this, it was not always realistic how the accessory suggestions fit in with the entire week. Maybe they might fit in with that specific day, but not necessarily the entire week. So this way empowers you to be able to actually add that extra focus of using the example of strength and then work that in appropriately with your week of training. I don't know if that fully answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. I had an interesting conversation with one of our members that I had then reposted my response to him on Facebook yesterday, Ernesto Rodriguez. And he was somebody that was missing those weekly accessories and the suggestions for where to put them with the workouts. And he had told me, I don't really have like a specific focus. And I think one of the things that we would like for people to start doing if they want to add in accessory workouts or extra programs is to choose a focus, not forever, not for 6 months or a year, but most of these series are 12 sessions. Some of them are longer than that, like the 52 endurance workouts. But one thing that we did in 2021, which I've really enjoyed, are these focus groups. We just finished up, for example, the dumbbell strength focus group. And in those groups, we had people who were like, yes, I'm committed to doing the entire 12 session dumbbell strength program in 6 weeks. Or maybe they were just doing one a week and they did, one per week for 6 weeks. But our advice would be to choose one or two, to choose a focus. Like, go through all the programs. It's really cool. You can see like it gives you what equipment that you're going to need. It gives you how long the sessions are. Some of them are pretty short. Some of them, like the endurance sessions, can be very long. That's going to help you to decide, do I have the equipment that I need for this program? Do I have the time for this? If I do have the time for this, do I have the time to add it on to the daily workout, or is it something that I'm going to need to do on its own day? We don't know all 35,000 of your information in the way that you know yourself and your setup and what you've got going on. So we were best guessing accessory suggestions before, but it doesn't necessarily fit everybody. And maybe even those 7 were giving you too many options, where we're going to encourage you guys to choose a program or to complete the whole thing. And then if you still want to focus on strength, choose a different strength program or start the same one over again. No problem in doing that. But complete one. Go through the whole thing before you don't hop around so much, I guess. And it's not that it would be wrong for you to do that, especially now when you're like, well, I just want to taste all the flavors. That's totally fine. But go through and look at those pages and look at the information and the goals of the program, how many sessions it is, how long they are and everything, and start to kind of whittle down what piques your interest the most and start somewhere and finish the whole thing. That's where you're going to get the most out of it. And now we can create programs that are designed for you to do that. The other downfall with the way that we had the weekly accessories are that people would just jump in wherever we were. And so we couldn't really create a program that started here and built off of each session and got a little bit more heavy or a little bit more intense or adding more duration to the endurance workouts or things like that. We couldn't really build because people were just jumping in wherever. So they were doing the extra work and getting a great workout, but it wasn't as intentional. Do you have anything to add to kind of that?
I do, and I'm just thinking about how to word this well. I think it always just comes back to like our main message. And that really our main concern is that you guys are consistent, that you are finding a way to make it work. And any like extra programming that we provide is to meet that need. It's not because we believe that more work is better. In fact, I don't think we believe that at all. It's more so to just give you guys enough options that you say, interested and engaged in your training. And we don't ever want you to feel like the daily workouts are not enough. The extra programming is fantastic. And if you do have a specific goal and you want to work towards that and you still want to get the daily workouts in, we have provided guidance on how to do that, but we don't want to detract or take away from our bread and butter, which is the daily workouts.
Yeah, I would say that all of us have done more extra programs and accessories this year than ever before, simply because we were running those focus groups and we had to. In general, most of us just do the daily workouts, and that's it. Unless we're testing new programs that we're coming out with or running those focus groups. I was joking around yesterday because the question had come up a lot of like, how do I add this stuff in? And you know, I was kind of being a little snarky and I was like, read between the lines, you guys. We no longer count multiple workouts toward your free gear. Like it's one a day that's going to count. And also, we're saying like, hey, you don't need to do all this extra stuff. Like the underline, like the read between the lines message is choose one workout a day and do it. And that's not, again, to say that there's anything wrong with people who have the extra time or who have a specific focus or who just really enjoy working out, to add it on top. But our message has never been, even with those accessory suggestions of you should be doing this and choosing one of these. And we've had to battle that people getting that message for some reason somehow, and usually it's come from wherever they came from before street parking. But the extra programs don't need to be added to something else. You can do a butts and guts and that's it. You can do a SOGO and that's it. You can definitely do a power 30 workout and not do anything else along with it. The other thing that Julian and I talked about a little bit in one of the Q&A videos is that the way that we program the daily workouts, we're very intentional about the volume of movement that we put in there. Now, if you're brand new to fitness, the volume is going to feel like a lot for you. But in general, we have numbers that we won't go over when it comes to things like pull-ups or push-ups or even double unders and things like that. So you don't have to be as precise with where you're adding the accessory stuff in, because the daily workout is not over programmed so much that it's really going to cause an issue if you accidentally put it on a day where it might not have been the best day. You're going to be fine. The other thing that we, like Jeb was saying, is we program the daily workouts in order, but a lot of you guys do them out of order. And so I don't know if you did Thursday's workout on Tuesday and now you're asking what accessory workout I should do on Wednesday. Maybe you're sore in a different way or a different place than we thought. Or maybe you did a power 30 workout yesterday and now so the accessory suggestions that you guys have always had have been a very like loose guide. And now we're trying to give you guys the tools and the education and saying that we trust you, to add some of this stuff in on your own. The best way to do that is to choose one or two things and follow those all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, we understood too that this was definitely going to rock some individuals that really, really come from a structured background. We get that. One of the things that we're hoping this will accomplish, though, is for you to take control of your fitness moving forward, right? Fitness freedom, because the more you actually have to process and make these decisions for yourself, you're going to start being able to adjust based off of your own personal schedule. And I think that's the greatest thing that this change is going to do, whether you realize that or not, in the long term, right? Or in the short term. Because, yeah, you know, we're all on this panel, we're all in a position now where if we're feeling extremely wrecked or sore from going at really high intensity, we can immediately know, you know what, I feel like doing some kind of aerobic work. I'm going to check out one of the endurance workouts. And yeah, that's, it's 20 to 30 minutes and we're done for the day and we move on. And, we feel really good about that, right? Because we also realize that fitness is not just the overall thing that you have to do in your life. It's just that we're helping you guys, with all the tools that we're making available to realize that it's like a whole, it's a whole process. It's not just fitness. It's also like your nutrition, your lifestyle, your eating habits, your sleep habits. So this is just a small piece of the puzzle. you know, and we're hoping that over the course, you guys are gonna realize that.
I would say too to be careful of thinking of yourself as just a unique snowflake, as much as all of us like to think that about ourselves. I don't want to say none of our members, because we do have some very fit members, but almost none of our members, maybe none of our members, are fit enough that they need such a specific dialed in program to maximize where they're at right now. What we all need is consistency. Once that's there, we need intensity, and to be more focused for short periods of time based on, you know, whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. And I would say that's true even for all of us sitting right here. Like, none of us are to the point where it's like, I have to get so super detailed to continue to see any sort of results. And so try not to think of yourself as this delicate little snowflake that needs that. And if you do need that, personal one-on-one trainers are very expensive, but they are available in the world.
That's another thing too. Like, I know a lot of individuals come from a CrossFit gym where they have the structured hour, right? And we get that. But at the end of the day, you know, we provide all of this for $19. I'm going to raise your rate. We're trying to make everything available to you. You know, like she said, if you want to go to back to a class, or you want to hire one-on-one training, we totally get that, and that's what it takes. But we're trying to, over the course of the last 5 years, we've realized what it takes to reach our audience and on a bigger level. And we know that that's going to upset some of you guys, and depending on the kind of personality you have. But this is where things are at right now. And we're going to continue to reevaluate as we move forward to phase 2, phase 3, and all that.
Yeah, and I really think for those of you that it's the biggest challenge for, that you have the most to gain. And it's like Alex and I were talking about yesterday. She's like, they just need to hear, like, we trust you. Like, we're going to give you the tools, and you can do this. You can know yourself enough, and know your body enough, know your schedule enough, know your goals enough, that you can choose from these things, these tools that we've given you, and you can make this work for you. And if halfway through something in your life changes, you can adapt and change your program. You can be like, oh man, like, I was doing starting strength, and this thing came up, or I got to move and I got to take down my gym, and I'm not going to have my rack and everything like that. You can put it on pause and come back to it later and not feel like a failure. It's your fitness journey is evolving. It's never a 12-week thing. It's never and there's no perfect prescription that's going to fit everybody, or even one single person, to be honest. I don't think it's been found yet, the perfect prescription. So we encourage you guys to go through and have fun with it too. You know, one of the things that we have always encouraged that really helps with consistency is, like, if we programmed specific lifting with every single workout, what if someone just doesn't like lifting? And I know some of you are like, what? Who doesn't? Excuse me? And that's okay. Like, so go do the endurance, or go do some of the body weight only workouts, or go work on specific skills. Who are we to tell you, you know, to what to do in that way? Like, we're here to help you build consistency, and not to fit into a specific mold of what we think should be done, because not all of us would agree anyway.
Just one little thing I gotta say, you know, because a lot of people do come from a place where they have an hour-long class, and there's a strength component and a conditioning program component in that hour. Not one time, and check me if I'm wrong here, but not one time has CrossFit's main site, CrossFit.com, ever put out more than one workout a day. If you're doing strength, you're doing strength. If you're doing conditioning, you're doing conditioning. And really high-level athletes that are trying to compete in any sport, they don't do strength for 20 minutes and then go right into a conditioning piece. They might do a strength session in the morning and then do conditioning at night, or split it up across different days. But the best way to build strength and conditioning is not to do those two things one after the other. So just take that into consideration if you are worried that you're going to lose out on anything by not doing more, because we haven't told you to do more.
And I was a personal trainer, then a gym owner and a coach in that type of place for a very long time. And what they're up against is they have to entertain people for an hour. Yep. And when the workout's a 12-minute AMRAP, of burpees and box jumps, and so there's not like equipment to get out, and the warm up can be pretty fast. Like, what am I supposed to do this whole time? So they're creating these like games to warm up with, and then we're lifting. That's why the class structure became so popular. The nice thing about working out at home is we don't have to spend an hour. We can do the 12-minute thing with a 5-minute warm up and be out of there in less than 30 minutes and go for it during those 12 minutes. We don't have to entertain ourselves for an hour. We're not under that responsibility. So if you're used to that structure and you think that the structure is there because it's most effective, the structure is there because the class is an hour. I promise you that. So, and it was the same when I was personal training too. And I had an hour with my person that was paying me for an hour of personal training. I couldn't be like, cool, we're doing 4x400 meters and then bye. I had to entertain them and make them feel like they were getting their money's worth for that hour. We're saying use your time however you want to use it. If you have an hour, fill it for sure. But if you don't feel like you're not doing enough. So that was probably the most common question. We encourage you guys to watch those welcome videos. There's a ton of information in those videos. The how to add it in is in there. Start playing around. And if you're unsure and you're really like, hey, this is what I was thinking about adding together, throw it up on Facebook. Use the hashtag SP Coaching. We can give you guys some guidance. I think something that might be kind of cool for us to do is some examples of like, hey, if I was like putting together my week and wanted to do SOGO this week, this is where I would add it in, or a couple places. And the other thing that we talked about is when there were 7 extra programs, it was pretty easy to go through and say like, here's where these 7 might fit in. Now there's 40. So I don't know if the members can wrap their head around how would we suggest the 40 different programs every single day? It's just not realistic or necessary. You guys can do this. So watch those videos, read the content, pick 1 or 2, and get started. We'll continue to do focus groups into 2022. And if you haven't joined a focus group, I think those are a really good place to learn how to do that, because we give a little bit more guidance in those groups, and those groups are completely free. So join a focus group if you haven't done one of those already. Okay, so the next kind of change that has come up, and we've been warning about this one for years, is that we're getting rid of the leaderboard. We got rid of the leaderboard. There's no leaderboard on this. So you enter your score. There's nowhere to immediately go and see if you beat Becky from Omaha. I don't know why it's always Omaha. I get Becky because Nicole uses Becky a lot when she's, in her character that she makes in her mind.
God.
Becky the biter was earlier.
Whoa.
So if you're Becky, it's fine. And if you live in Omaha, it's fine. But we've been warning about this one. We would have gotten rid of it a long time ago. I know a lot of, not a lot, but some people are bummed about it. They really use that for motivation. Let's one more time. I think we've even done a coaches roundtable about it. Let's one more time talk about why we didn't want to include that first of all, how much longer the development of the whole system would have actually taken because of the algorithms that are involved in categorizing people in that way. But why we just aren't fans of it in the first place. Anyone want to take that one?
I mean, part of it is just like, I think just the validity or even like relevance of scoring, because you might have someone who is using, I don't know, a Yeti ice chest as their step for a step up workout, and someone else is they're doing jump overs over a bench or something. Like, we have no way of standardizing the equipment people use, or even the setup. So maybe their transition time takes longer. I know some people have to they'll run up their stairs out of the basement to go do a run outside and then have to come back down. It's like, at some point we can no longer compare scores in a way that makes sense or is valuable. So that one, just off the bat, I think kind of negates the use of a leaderboard.
And we don't want people to ever feel that they need to not use their Yeti. Like, because it's like, well,
Exactly.
my Yeti is
Exactly.
only 18 inches and I feel like I'm cheating. No, you're not cheating. You're using what you have available, which is what we want you to be doing. And if the Yeti's working, the Yeti's working. Like, you don't need to go out and purchase a box if that's what you have and that's working fine for you.
Right.
I also think the goal times are extremely valuable, right? For the reason that if you are an individual who really likes to wants to get validation, did I do good today? Did I not do good today? I mean, we unless it's like a brand new movement and we haven't really had much experience with it, our goal times may be pretty off, but we are quick to acknowledge that and be like, okay, we messed up. But for the most part, if the goal time on the faster side is what it is, know that if you're somewhere around there, you did a really good job. You crushed the workout. Nicely done. And now next time you can choose to beat that, or you can do the extra challenge. You're only competing against yourself, right? And that's the best way to see where progress is at. And I really can appreciate where our focus was with this new platform is you're focusing on your own personal logbook and your own trophy case. Like, what have you earned? And look at the progress that you've made. Look at the consistency that you've had. That's not to say, and I did a little Java earlier today, just kind of talking about the roundtable and what we're going to be discussing. But all you need is a couple people, because you really know like who is around your fitness level. Hopefully you have some friends in the community or meet somebody, and that's all you need, right? You just need a couple people to have like some kind of a comparison, because after that, now you're having to factor in all these little things that someone's doing at home. And what if they don't have the same standards that you do as an individual? And then it gets really chaotic and really messy. And then it's just not worth ruining someone's day for that, right? Always compare your progress to yourself. And I think once you can get to that place, you end up being in a really good mindset for sure. So
we saw it too when we first started, because it took us a little while to understand how the leaderboard could and you have to keep in mind, Julian and I weren't people who were part of classes at gyms before this. Like, we had like our small training groups that we would train with, and I don't think that either one of us, maybe him a little bit more than me, had ever been year round looking at whiteboards and leaderboards and comparing scores with a large group of people. Like, it was like our small group of, we all did the workout together and we know who did what. But we've seen in gyms, in places, how that can negatively impact people's mental state, or even their desire to work out at all if they're not feeling it that day. But then when we started to get to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 members, we saw it playing out on our Facebook group, where people were like calling out strangers saying like, oh, you weren't standing up all the way on your air squats, or your wall ball target's too low, or like you miscounted. I watched your whole video and counted all of your reps. And as the group grew, that was kind of growing with it. And that's when we really started to realize like, hey, we got to get people to understand exactly what Alex was saying. Like, this is like, let people do what they're going to do. We're here to help with consistency. This is not a daily competition or a place that you should come to feel better about yourself because you beat someone that you don't know. And maybe
Becky from Omaha.
Maybe Becky's kid didn't sleep the night before and she has been awake since 2 a.m. and you beat her. But like, is that really something to celebrate, or is that necessary? So that's when we kind of realized like, hey, we got to get people away from this. And we started the messaging, I would say like within a year in, of like, don't look at it so much. Don't worry about it so much. And I don't know that we always even had the goal times from the very beginning. Those came with the like encouragement. And then now it's you did a good job if what you chose for your workout got you in the goal time. Because I think a lot of people with that similar background, the goal is to do the workout with the weight that's written, no matter how long it takes, no matter how ugly my technique gets, no matter how many singles I'm doing with 30 seconds rest in between. I want to say that I did the workout the way it was written. For us, it's, did you do what you needed to do? Did you use the customizations off of the list to get within the goal time? Because the goal time is what the workout was intended to do. If a workout is intended to be a 12-minute AMRAP where you get 6 to 8 rounds. That's how much work we want you doing in 12 minutes, and that's the pace we want you working at for 12 minutes. That's what the workout is not what your score was compared to other people.
Yeah, so just to kind of close the leaderboard section up, because I know we have other things.
Diagnostics.
Yeah, so finish my thought and then I'll go into that. Literally, this is just to, address most of the individuals that are struggling with not having a leaderboard. I think there's a couple solutions that will fix that. Outside of that, we're not sorry, but we get where you're coming from, right? So there's the first thing, which is find literally a handful of individuals within the community.
There's a guys group. I know one of our members, Alex Bridgeforth, has been upset about the leaderboard for a long time now, and he has a guys group now.
Yeah, he does.
He mentioned
He
it.
created
great.
his own solution.
And even for us internally, like, don't get me wrong, I working out alone is very difficult and you have to kind of get into the right mindset. But having, Miranda, Jeb, Alex, Nicole, Salvi, Kaylee, we have our own group within this team that push each other and we kind of vibe off each other, and we kind of that helps us keep moving forward, and we let it go. We don't focus outside of our bubble, because we know that at the end of the day, we went for it. We got the best workout in for the day, and we're pushing each other as a group. I think all you need is literally a handful of individuals. And if you don't have that, that is why we go live every single day except Sunday on the Street Parking members IG. You'll catch one of the coaches going live, and you'll get to compare and see like where we kind of finished that for that workout. We save it, we post it on the IG so you guys can go back and reference that as well. So we've given you multiple resources for you to keep moving forward if you have that little itch. But those are the best suggestions we can give you to move forward.
I did want to mention too, and then I'll let Jeb talk about the diagnostics, because that's another way that you can really see where you're at if you need to measure your fitness level. One thing that I've seen a lot on the Facebook group over the last few years is people who are dealing with way fewer injuries and way less like mental and emotional and physical burnout, because they're no longer in an environment or holding themselves to this place where they are making decisions based off of what other people are doing. And they're making decisions based off of the guidance that we're giving them to make the workout work for them. I've seen that a lot. And all of us are susceptible to it. I mean, I know when I'm not pregnant that if Kaylee or Alex or Rachel or whoever are over and I was planning on using 75 pounds and I see Kaylee loading up 85 pounds, I immediately feel like I have to use 85 pounds. And pulling yourself from that environment and just being like, no, I think this is right for me. I think this is what's going to get me in the goal time. Having something to push a little bit sometimes is great, which leads us to the Diagnostic Series, which is a new series on the platform that can help you do just that.
I think it's one of the things I'm the most excited about. And just to let you know, there is hope, because I used to be that person that felt pressure to use the same amount of weight as the person that I felt like I should be fitter than or wanted to be as fit as. Now, zero, nothing. I do what I want to do, and it's great. So there is hope, but the diagnostics are super awesome. And this is kind of like, if you're coming from a CrossFit background, something similar to benchmarks. However, what's super cool is that there are levels. Now, so Julian's got these pulled up. There are 15 right now, and we will be adding more continuously. Each one of these workouts is designed to test some component of your fitness. And that test or that component goes way beyond things like cardiovascular endurance or overall strength or that kind of thing. Yes, we do test some of that. There's like a 5K run in there. But then it's like getting into muscular endurance. And there's one that even is going to test your grip strength and stuff like that. So there's something in there that's going to test everything. Now, there's 4 different levels. And the idea is that you might look at the different levels, see which one you want to test. Level 4 is going to be the hardest. Level 1 is going to be the easiest, but I shouldn't even say easiest because they're still not easy. But what's cool is that for most of them, like level 1 and 2, there's going to be different customizations that are allowed. So we want you, if you're kind of newer to this stuff, probably start around level 1. And you go with the customizations that you need to go with, and you just do it. It'll let you know where you are in terms of your fitness with regard to what is being tested. So for some of these, you might crush level 2. And then on others, you might die during level 1. And then that tells you right there, oh, okay, well, here's where there's maybe a deficiency. And maybe I'll head over and that'll help me choose one of these 40 extra programs that'll help round that out. So I could keep going on this for quite a while. But the other thing I will say is that I think that up until now, like we've had, first we had RX and RX Plus, right? And then we changed it to just suggestions and extra challenge. And there's a lot of folks that maybe do the extra challenge regularly. And so they might come on over here to the diagnostics and be like, well, I do.
So straight to number 4.
Yeah, I'm going straight to number 4 and I'm going to crush it. Level 4 is no joke.
There have been several level 4s
Yeah.
that Julian has not passed.
Yeah, like they're really, really hard. And they're that way for a reason. So we don't want you to start. In fact, I think you should probably start with something that's going to challenge you, to keep you in it mentally, but that you feel like there's at least a 50% chance that you're going to beat that level. Build yourself some confidence and then try the next level up after some time. You don't want to like do level 1 and then the next day come back and do level 2.
Yeah, and you know, these are how to add these in. Most of them they look like daily workouts, other than like the 5K run, I would say most of them. So if you have one in mind that you want to add, and because these will be programmed in randomly is what I meant to say. Like I know we have one coming up in the next few weeks that we programmed in just for funsies and to show you guys the program and remind you that it's there. You can go in and test these whenever you want. They'll count toward your workout counts. Find a workout during the week that has similar movements and replace it. That's the best way to go about adding those in. And like Jeb was saying, like if you're doing this one here and it's got a bunch of push-ups in it and you're like, well, I definitely could have made the time, but the push-ups killed me. Go straight to that skills program. Follow the push-up program for, 6 weeks or so, come back and retest this one, or it might be the pull-ups that did that for you or whatever. These are really good guides for that. We've asked the dev team to give us reports on which ones of these you guys are doing the most. I'm interested to see how that's going because I think some of them are going to be more appealing and exciting and sound more fun. Some of them are really brutal. If you pass one, we would love to hear about it. Screenshot your score, put it on Facebook, and share that. We want to encourage people to use those because we will keep adding. And that's another thing we didn't mention in the extra programs chat is that we'll be adding new programs to those all the time. I know one of the questions that people have been asking is like, are there only 2 series of butts and guts? Like there's only 24 butts and guts workouts? I used to be able to go back for 5 years and do butts and guts. And it's like, those are not the only 24 butts and guts workouts. Those are not the only 24 SOGO workouts. You haven't even done one yet. So don't worry about running out until you get a little bit closer to the end. We'll be adding some more. And then the other thing that's cool, that's different about this that I don't know that people realize is that in Wodify, you could log a Sunday accessory once. If you went back and repeated it and logged it again, it wouldn't count it as a new workout. Here, if you have a favorite 5 butts and guts workouts that you just feel is like giving you the peach of your dreams or whatever, you can repeat those 5 forever, over and over. Do one a week for 5 weeks and recycle, repeat, and every time you do it, it'll add another workout to your workout counter. So let's talk about the workout counters. This is another thing that's changed a little bit. I feel like we did a pretty good job of explaining this on Facebook and everything already, but not everybody sees that stuff. We've had the goodies. We've had the 75 workout hoodie. We've had the 365 tank, and we've had the 1,000. Well, the 1,000 banner was like, I mean, to us, it was shocking that anyone was ever got that many workouts, but then it became a thing, and now a bunch of people have it, a couple hundred people at least, I think. Anyway, it's always been off of number of workouts logged. When Julian and I started, it was actually a 50 workout hoodie, which Rachel and Nicole remember very well because I think it impacted them getting their hoodie. When we realized that people were doing more than one workout in a day, we changed it to 75 because the initial idea when I owned a gym, I kept track and paid attention and noticed that if I could get someone to be consistent for 3 months, they would be consistent for at least a year. I needed 3 months though. I needed them to build that habit. So the idea with the 50 was like, if someone was working out 4-ish times a week, how long would it take them to get, 50 workouts or so? And that's how we chose the 50. When we saw people were doing multiple workouts in a day, we were like, they're getting their 50 workout in 6 weeks. That's not the 3 months. So we upped it to 75. Some people gamed it even harder than that, and they were doing like shift as a warm-up, and then they were doing an accessory, and then they were doing the regular workout because people love prizes, and I can't blame them, but they wanted to get their 365 as quickly as possible. I feel like people didn't usually figure it out until past the 75. It's the 75 to 365 where people got really started to game it, and then the 1,000, just forget it. But our intention has always been days. It's been that from the very beginning. We weren't able to track it. Wodify just counted total count. So this was our way to going back to what it was initially supposed to be. So on your trophy case, do you want to pull it up? You'll see days logged and total workouts. Now, if you've been a member for a while, if you've been a member for more than a day, and you've logged multiple workouts in a day ever, those two numbers when you logged on yesterday were the same. Because again, we didn't have a way to differentiate days and total workouts. But from now on, when you go to log, if you do 2 workouts in a day, your total workouts will go up by 2. Days logged will go up by 1. Prizes are now off of days logged, not off of total workouts. Because again, that's what it's always been meant to be. That's not. That's the internet. It's just so bad. Salvi's just making us look bad with his screen idea. Okay, click on the trophy case. Yeah, so you'll see logged workouts and days worked out. So he has one day that he must have logged two workouts in the same day. And so that's why his numbers are different there. Those aren't his real numbers, by the way, guys.
19 workouts.
You're crushing it.
This is what you get with workouts.
The other thing that's cool is we've got these little like badges that you can earn. So someday when Julian logs 75 workouts, this whole ring will be full and it'll show that he's earned 75. The 365 is on there. The 1,000 is on there. The only other one that's on there now is we created the 52 endurance workouts. 52 weeks of endurance became a thing. It's been a thing for the last few years where people want to do a year's worth of endurance once a week with the weekly Sunday endurance workouts. We made it an official program that, like we were talking about before, actually has a progression now. So yeah, that one's in there too, but we'll be adding some more stuff to that. So again, it just goes back to consistency. Not to say you can't or shouldn't do more than one in a day and add those accessories in. But our goal for you is to always just be consistent with the days that you're training. Anything else for that one? Okay. I mean that's all the stuff that I had. The notes that I wrote down from looking at the questions on Facebook. I know we wanted to talk about what are some of the other programs that are brand new. If people haven't played around with it yet, we talked about the diagnostics is new. But there are some other new programs that weren't on members only or part of the weekly accessory workouts. What are some of the new programs you guys are excited about?
So there's a couple. I know Power was an accessory, but now it's Power 3, which is a 30-minute power session. And it's really cool because there's some days that it's strength training with power lifts for 30 minutes. And you're in and out and it's really, really effective. And then there's a couple in there that are like power conditioning, which is designed to help you really express the adaptations that take place during this series in your daily workouts. So you actually get to see the benefit working in your daily workout. So I'm really excited about that. And then also in terms of like just strength stuff, I love that we now have, in addition to the 20 rep squat, we have the deadlift program and a bench press program. And those are all 1 day a week. So if you just want to get stronger and
They're short.
and you want to keep it super simple, you might just do your 20 rep squats, for a few weeks, and then do your deadlift program. Or, if you want to get real crazy, you have one lifting day of each of those lifts per week. And that's pretty much the perfect supplement to your daily workouts.
Yeah. And if I were really concerned about getting strong, I would pair a bench press with maybe like a Sogo, or the deadlift with maybe like a butts and guts or something like that, because it's not high volume. Yeah. None of those programs, the 20 rep, the bench press, or the deadlift are super high volume. It's very manageable sets. If I was adding those in on the same day as a daily workout, I would do it before.
Good call.
Not that you couldn't do it after, but if that's your focus, I would do it before. Just little tips. Which ones are you excited about?
Well, to piggyback off of kind of like taking that 20 rep squat program and then just expanding on it with other movements, we created an Oli linear program, which again is part of this change from accessories to extra programs, like you mentioned, is allowing us to actually create better structured programs for you guys that you can follow. So the Oli linear is very much like starting strength, where rather than 3 sessions a week, it's 6 sessions. You'll do 3 a week, but it kind of rotates every other week, because we are trying to practice a skill while also building strength with the snatch and clean and jerk. But yeah, I'm really excited about that, mostly because I love Olympic weightlifting, but I also think it's a great program. And I know plenty of people are always looking for ways to practice those movements.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation on Facebook yesterday with somebody who was asking about that program in particular. And he said, once I finish this program, I can't remember, it's 8 weeks?
Yeah, so that's another thing. It's
12,
not,
right?
It's like 8 to 10,
Okay.
like whatever you think you need, pretty much.
He asked, if I do this program for 8 weeks, then what do I do? And the way that I answered it was, well, you could, if you love Olympic lifting, you could go and do the Oli Imams, because those also build. Or you could start this program back over with higher weight from the very beginning. It all depends on where you want to go next. And we'll be, like we said, we'll be adding some more stuff in. So anytime it comes to a specialty like that too, I think people underestimate how repetitive athletes in those genres training is. They don't have thousands of different workouts. They do the same stuff over and over again for years and years of their life. It's the same every day. It's one of the reasons that they get bored and burnt out of it so easily. I really like the Power 30 also, because for me, I enjoy lifting, but ever since being busy and being a parent, like, I think of a starting strength workout and it just sounds like a lot of warming up and a lot of resting and a lot of waiting around. And that's something that I used to really enjoy. And now it just makes me feel anxious even thinking about it, being in the garage that long. So knowing that it's going to be 30 minutes and that I'm going to get a good session in, is more appealing to a lot of our demographic, I think. What about you, baby? What, any programs that you're super pumped about? What about your bike waves?
Yeah, bike wave.
Yeah, I mean, I've completed it. That's so.
Not for you personally to do, for other people.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm excited for people to definitely try that out. I think the diagnostics are really gonna satisfy a craving that a lot of individuals have as far as like with a certain kind of mentality. I think it's gonna be great for people to challenge themselves in that way. So I think diagnostics and the bike wave program, I think, because there's so many people that hate the bike, which it's uncomfortable, but I think most because you don't know how to pace it. Just with like any other movement, the more you understand it, you get comfortable with it, you can definitely dive into it and feel good about it. So
yeah, some other fun ones are the on-ramp program. I'm really excited about that. We've already had requests from members to get more information about that program. Some in a way that they can share it. Like, can I share this video, this welcome video from On-Ramp, so I can show it to my friends and family who feel like they couldn't do street parking, and show them like, hey, this is a program which is 12 sessions, 4 weeks, 3 sessions a week, which really introduce the basic like foundational movements and get you prepared and feeling more comfortable to jump into shift. We've always said that the shift workouts are something that pretty much anyone could jump into. And I do still believe that, but it's a confidence level thing a lot of times with people, and they want to feel like they have all the information that they need. And this, I think, really provides that. So that's a really good one that I'm excited about. I'm excited about the endurance on-ramp also.
What about the endurance off-ramp?
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of posts of people who, I mean, we have this group of these 52-week endurance people who are just really over the top. It's the same people that have like multiple marathon stickers on their cars and like things like that. And just these people who just enjoy these long cardio type workouts. And you have all these street parking members that are like looking at the endurance workout and they're like, I see that this is going to take me 45 minutes to an hour and I'm not ready for that. So we created the endurance on-ramp, which literally starts as 15 minutes, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And then it builds from there. By the end, I did session number 12 last night because I'm doing the off ramp. I'm going to do it backwards, which was 5 minutes on, 1 minute off, 5 rounds. But you have 12 sessions to build up to where we have an expectation that you can move consistently for 5 minutes at a moderate pace. And then from there, you can jump into the 52 weeks of endurance if you want to, or not. You can do that same program again, or you can do some of the other, you know, the 5K program or whatever. People have been really excited to use that to make themselves feel more confident to jump into the 52 weeks. I like the no equipment workouts. There's now 20 that are actually programmed in order. We've always had like this like random PDF that people could like print out and just like, hey, if you're going out of town, print this out and take it with you. And they weren't loggable. Some of them were, I think, because they were past workouts. But this is
only loggable once, if that were true.
Yeah, this is now like, hey, if you're going out of town for a month, or you're moving and all your gear is going to be gone for a couple weeks or something like that, or you're like visiting relatives and you don't want to pack your sandbag and figure out how you're going to fill it up. They're programmed in order so that you can follow them for, I mean, if you're doing 5 workouts a week, that's 4 weeks of workouts with no equipment whatsoever. So, you know, maybe a little stint in jail or something. You can just, whoa. Have somebody give those to you, log them when you get out. Hey,
Yeah, just keep that in mind,
it's
Jeb.
fine.
Nice. That's the new extra program is the prison workout.
For jail fit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hey, fitness is for everyone, okay? That's not so much fitness freedom, but you can still maintain your fitness. Lots of other stuff, you guys. And then finally, one thing that I saw a lot of our developer members who were like, hey guys, this is V1. This is like the first iteration of this thing. We didn't create the platform and then like, cool, we're done. There's going to be no more workouts. We're not going to improve anything. We're not going to add anything. There'll be no more badges. We're retiring. Here's your product. See you later. We have so many ideas, like too many ideas. And we had a meeting about it yesterday where we had to literally like cut it off. And the meeting was, what do you guys want by this time next year? And we were like way too far like down the road. We have so many things. I know Julian has like a really cool page that he wants created that he was like over there working on right before we came. We've talked about other badges. We consistency tracker that includes things that are not just workouts, but like the things that we're trying to get you guys to do all the time with your food and your veggies and your sleep and your all of that kind of stuff. So you can track all of that as well. Not track it like in a super over the top way, but just know where you're going with that stuff and be aware of your habits. So yeah, we're open to suggestions for stuff like that. There is a button at the bottom of the page, I think, that says feedback and
Issues or feedback.
issues or feedback. If you're having any issues logging, there have been a few people like where they've clicked complete and it like hasn't done something or whatever. That's a better place to submit that sort of information than the Facebook group, because the people that can actually do something about it and help you will get that much quicker than if you just post it on Facebook. So use that button.
There's also just right alongside that, there's a button titled questions with some answers that you might be looking
I think there's
for.
like 50 questions on there.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm just saying before you head to the Facebook group and ask those questions, it might be worth taking a gander at that, seeing if you can figure it out there.
Nice.
Just last thing I want to say is what's so cool about this whole process and what we have right now is that it's getting closer to the vision, right?
The metaverse.
Like the street parking, like we're here, I'm here, all of you out there listening or watching, you're here because of the vision of these two people. And always since the beginning, that vision was consistency. And everything that we've talked about and the changes have pushed for a greater value on consistency. And what I love about this version of the platform and the idea of like the upcoming versions of the platform is that it crystallizes that vision more clearly, I know, for all of us here, and you guys get to see that vision more clearly as you use it. So I think it's really, really exciting that it's not that the vision has changed. It is what it's always been. It's now just more clear because we have the technology to support it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Coaches Roundtable. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with anybody that you feel may benefit from it. So we'll check in with you guys, I don't know, a couple weeks or something like that. We'll check in with you guys soon, okay? Stick with it. Play around with the platform. Enjoy it.
Share it.
Share it. And we'll see you guys soon.